Expedition 33 has been met with universal acclaim since launch. It quickly sold over 3 million copies, became Metacritic's highest user-rated game of all time, and people are already calling it one of the best RPGs ever made. And well, after playing through the main story and all of its side content, I can confidently say that this is not only one of the best RPGs ever, but it may very well be one of the greatest video games ever made. It is not as good as people say, it is better, and the fact that this is a small studio's debut game is mind-blowing, because what they have crafted here is truly special, and an experience I will not soon forget. One of the biggest things Expedition 33 accomplishes is taking turn-based combat to the next level with its implementation of action commands for attacking, parrying, and dodging in real time. And while it's certainly not the first to do it, I can think of the Mario RPGs for example, it does it in a way that is so deep and rewarding that going back to a more traditional system will not feel the same after this. It truly is the most interactive turn-based combat to date, because even when it's the enemy's turn, you're encouraged to memorize their attack patterns to avoid damage and launch a counterattack. Combined with just how well the enemies are designed and how unforgiving the parry windows are, it results in a system that can appeal to both fans of turn-based and real-time action combat. I would not be surprised if RPGs start copying this format going forward, because it's seriously that good. And it can get quite challenging too, especially with the endgame super bosses. It legit sometimes just feels like I'm playing a turn-based version of Elden Ring. Speaking of, I was pleasantly surprised by how many mechanics it borrows from Souls-likes. From the way you level up your characters, weapons having attribute scalings, and literal bonfires disguised as expedition flags, which both recharge your healing items and respawn enemies. It is as if the developers took their favorite aspects from their favorite RPGs and blended them all into this game. And it ended up working perfectly, because if there's anything I love about this game, is that you can tell just by playing it how incredibly passionate the developers were about this project. They made their dream game, a game they wanted to play. And as they have said themselves, a game that would have never gotten approved by a big corporation. Oh, and by the way, can we talk about how this game is only $50? In this economy? And it was on Game Pass on release. Heck, even the soundtrack alone is worth $50. You're telling me that this 8-hour masterpiece of an album came with a free game? It's already one of my favorite soundtracks ever, and I know I'm not alone in saying that. Not only is this game a mechanical and musical marvel, but it is also visually stunning. There are times when I'm walking around the world, taking in the views and just being like, dang, this is a video game. Each area you visit is just so unique and visually interesting. It's one of the best implementations of Unreal Engine I have seen. And I haven't even talked about the story yet, because it's also one of the most beautiful stories I've ever seen. And combined with the breathtaking art direction, this is literal peak cinema, peak fiction, peak fantasy, peak everything. Now I won't be talking about any spoilers, because you deserve to experience this game for yourself, but the basic premise is this. People live in a world where one day a giant creature known as a paintress appeared. Each year, she paints a number on a monolith, counting down every time, and as a result, everyone of that age and older dies. So every year, the people send an expedition to the mainland to try and stop the paintress once and for all, before there's no hope left for humanity. You play as Expedition number 33 as you venture to not only destroy the paintress, but figure out just what the heck is going on. It is a story that pulls you in from the very first 30 minutes of gameplay, with one of the most effective introductions I've seen to a game, and from there, it just keeps getting more and more intriguing. The writing in this game is phenomenal, with the story scattering tiny pieces of the puzzle for you to start putting together in your head, while still finding a way to surprise you. I always looked forward to the next cutscene or the next piece of dialogue that would reveal a tiny bit more information about this world, because it is a world you will get very invested in. It is a story that is not afraid to not play it safe, to be dark, yet also quite funny and charming when it needs to. It has an incredible cast of deep, complex characters, and even NPCs are fun to talk to. And when you are finally able to piece the whole story together, it is one of the best feelings ever. Now, as much glaze as this game deserves, there are a few issues that need to be acknowledged. My biggest complaint with this game is definitely the final act, and I'm not talking about the story or anything. I think the story is great. The issue here is the way that this part of this game is balanced. You see, at this point, you get the ability to make your characters extremely powerful, and on the one hand, you're gonna need it, because some of the endgame bosses are really tough. Yet on the other hand, some bosses are extremely weak and are clearly not balanced with this in mind. This means that if you want to fully experience some of these fights, which are very cool fights, you have to purposely nerf yourself like a lot, and that's not a very good feeling. And combined with the fact that there's no easy way to switch your build, such as an option to save a previous loadout, and by the way, setting up your characters can take forever, you can probably see why this is frustrating. I am aware that the developers have already released a patch that lets you limit the amount of damage you do and increase the enemy's health pool, but this does not fully solve the fundamental problem in my opinion. This next one might be more of a personal preference, but I do wish the game had area maps, as it was sometimes easy for me to get lost in these zones, and as someone who likes to explore every corner of them, having a map would have been very useful. Besides that, the movement, although you can get used to it, can feel a bit clunky, especially when the game makes you do platforming. There are a few times I got stuck in the terrain, with the only way to get out being to reload my save, but even then I am aware that they're already addressing and patching a lot of these bugs. It is mind-blowing that a team of only around 30 people managed to craft a game that goes above and beyond in every single aspect. It has one of the best battle systems, one of the best soundtracks, one of the best art direction, and one of the best stories I've seen in a video game. It exceeded all of my expectations, and besides the few issues I mentioned, it is a near perfect experience from start to finish. If you're a fan of RPGs at all, do yourself a favor and play this game when you get the chance. And even if you're not a fan of the turn-based format, this will likely be the game that changes your mind. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a generation masterpiece that has set a new standard for RPGs going forward. I will be shocked if it does not win Game of the Year. And Best Role-Playing Game, and Best Soundtrack, and Best Narrative, and Best Game Direction, and Best Art Direction, and Best